have reached Eric Marshall. Leave a message.
Okay, we're going live.
Well, here we are again.
Yep.
Friday night podcast time
Friday night.
to help Darkness, my old friend, get some sleep.
I'm going to have to turn myself up a little bit.
Turn it up, turn me on, turn me loose. Who sings that?
Never heard it.
I think country music is a gap in your
Turn me on, turn me loose.
Musical acumen.
I think I'll survive.
A lot of good country songs, man.
If you say so.
Like everything I learned about life was learned from like 70 classic country songs. You know, like, you know the, do you know any of them?
Yeah, a few of them.
Like,
There's a bank in California. All the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. That's the only part I know.
what song's that?
I don't know. It's got a lot of harmony.
I don't know if it's a country song.
Yeah, it was. I listened to it when we were moving out west for a day.
Just took you a day to move out there?
Yeah. Well, we only stayed out there a week. Moved back.
You didn't like it out there?
Wasn't me, it was my dad and mom.
They didn't like it out there?
Nope, my dad did. Dad didn't like it. He thought he was going to be living in the mountains, but it was in the, flat like Colorado.
Oh, yeah?
So I don't really remember it too much.
Would your life have been different if you stayed out there?
Probably, a little bit. I'll be a different person today.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be a volunteer.
Always born and bred.
I got you. So classic country songs, like where you learn about life. I'll give you a couple of them here if I can think of some. He stopped loving her today. You know what that's about?
Breakup?
Actually, I think she died, and then he eventually died, and when he died, he stopped loving her.
Oh, okay.
I think. Now, somebody may have to.
I used to watch Hee Haw a lot with my grandpa.
Hee Haw's good. Hee Haw's all
I like
good.
the ladies in the shorts and low-cut tops.
Was it something they used to have the old girl ironing, and the guy sitting there in the wife beater shirt? And you go, oh, despair and agony on me, deep dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Oh, despair. And she'd get on him, she'd nag him to death. She'd say, when you going to do some work?
I remember that.
And then, go ahead.
No, that's it, yeah.
And then it was Buck Owens and Roy Clark, right?
Right.
Buck had that red, white, and blue guitar, right? But Roy was the player. There's videos of him. He was a stud.
See that episode of The Odd Couple where he was on there playing a song? It's like,
I didn't see that.
as fast as can.
I didn't know he's on the... What's that called? Cross promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah.
trying to think what other country songs. So you learned about human emotions and feelings. At least I did. Tried to off the 8-track tapes.
Right.
Like, Your Cheating Heart, stuff like that. What's that one, For the Good Times? You ever heard that one?
I've heard you sing it.
Well, here it comes.
Yeah.
I don't know the words to it, but it's like they used to be in a relationship, and the dude's trying to say, honey, I know we've moved on, but, how about one more piece for the road?
Piece of what?
You got it. For the good times. But
Sounds like desperate.
It's sad. It's how humans negotiate, man. It's like, what do you got to lose? We've done it before. I guess now that could be my interpretation. Somebody may have to. I'm afraid to Google the lyrics now.
Why?
I like that interpretation.
Oh, I see.
I don't want to destroy my fantasy.
The thing about art is, it doesn't just mean one thing. Not even what the creator.
Right.
It means whatever it means to the person.
It's how you interpret it.
Living. Yeah.
Right. What other country songs? I'm trying to think. There's about 10 like good ones. Right. You know, there's ones that are just, you know, male braggadocio. Is that how you say that?
I believe so.
Like, I turned 21 in prison, serving life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried. Mama tried. Mama tried.
Who's that?
That's Merle Haggard. To
You
raise
like
me.
Merle and Johnny?
Well, they
Who's
had
your
kind of.
favorite?
I don't know about them.
Who's
I
your
like
favorite?
a country singer.
Yeah.
Classic country singer. I don't know. I mean, all of them. Right.
Yeah.
I like Johnny Cash when he sang alternative rock.
Right.
That's a song I could play. We're talking about doing Instagram Live.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that's easy.
Talking about the 9 Inch Nails one?
That one or Rowboat. He did a back cover.
Oh.
I'll be home with the gasoline. Anyhow, so how did we get into the 70s? Just keep going
I
there.
have no idea.
Yeah, it's not helping us any.
Country music.
Country music.
Why don't you ever play country music?
It's difficult, man. It's musically difficult.
Yeah.
It's complicated. Those dudes could play, you know. Like in the 90s, all that alternative stuff's like power chords, like 3 power chords, you know, 3 other power chords for the chorus. That country, you had to know your way around the fretboard
Okay.
on all the instruments.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Country doesn't use many power chords. At least old country doesn't.
Right.
I bet new country does.
I mean, you know, I like bass, and the bass is complicated. I like to play. There's a Clint Black song. It's not classic country. It's 90s. We can talk about the country in the 90s if you want to, but
Nah, I'm good.
what's the name of that Clint Black song?
Back in black.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Back up black.
It was barrel down. You were the first thing that I thought of when I thought I drank you off my mind. When I get lost in the liquor, you're the only thing I find. Anyhow, he's talking about more or less wrecking, drunk.
Drunk driving?
Yeah, like he's so sad he lost her, he's just going to take one for the team.
Wow.
It was a good song. I mean, it had a good beat, had a good 2-step beat.
Got that nice little twist in the lyrics, that
Yeah, right.
little thing that makes it all work.
What's the lyrics? I can't sing it. This killing time is killing me, making myself blind. Anyhow, it's Clint Black. Before we move on from this, so like 90s country, if you're into it.
George Jones, high-tech redneck.
And Garth, right? Remember Garth? And at one point,
Crossover.
I think I started going to country bars at some point. Not down here.
Did you wear the hat and the boots?
In West Virginia, no. It seemed like they were more alive than other bars.
They do the
I think in Florida, I went to them in Florida. And you drive the middle of Florida, I forget the name of the town, like, I don't know, south of Orlando or north of Orlando.
Ocala?
Small places, and you go to a big country bar in the woods, and they'd play the 90s. And they did the same thing in West Virginia, too.
Are Florida country people different than West Virginia country people?
Yeah, well, that's a can of worms there.
Who do you think would win in a fight?
The question I would have to object to the label of country people, because none of them was country. They all worked jobs. They all had TVs. They all didn't farm.
Well, I mean, their life is colored by the lifestyle. Like, people who listen to country music may be slightly different than people who listen to heavy metal.
Yeah.
Just the whole attitude and
well,
the paraphernalia.
You know, we always like to touch on pop references, right? You remember Urban Cowboy, John Travolta?
I don't remember ever seeing it, but I know what it is.
Yeah. You know, he did Saturday Night Fever, and then disco got big, right?
Yep.
You can tell by the way I move my hips. I'm a woman's man.
He's
no
carrying
time
a bucket of paint.
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason.
And then he did the same thing for country music, and that was I didn't like that movie, but they did line dancing, they had lights, they made it glamorous. Yeah, they had whatever.
What about Electric Cowboy?
That was a movie or a club?
I think that was a movie about a club.
What was the club at Eastgate?
Cactus Moon.
Is that what it was?
No, Diamonds and Lace. No.
That's a strip club.
Diamond. I think it was Cactus Moon, or at least that's what it was.
When I first moved here in '92, I rode the damn electric Rhino or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Were you wearing cutoff shorts?
No, but the dude couldn't throw me. The dude that's controlling, he couldn't throw me.
Was he trying to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you just that good?
I just I just set my mind. I said I'm not getting
hand up in there.
I'm not getting thrown off this thing. It's a leg clamping. You just clamp the shit out with your legs.
Was it whiplashing your neck around?
You know, it was kind of anticlimactic.
You
just
back.
tighten your legs up, and he flips you around, and I was like, there's not much to that.
I bet they weren't allowed to do it like they did in the movies. It's going like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, right. They had a governor on it.
Did they have cushions all around?
It's been a long time, been a long, lonely time.
You had a few drinks too, didn't you?
No.
Trying to stay sharp in case you got
I'm trying to think. What year could it have been? I moved here in '92. Did I move here in '92? No, I moved here. Who's on first? No, I didn't have any drinks.
What's the point in going to a bar? Just pick up some ladies?
I think I might have had one with me.
Country ladies?
I think I was married.
Oh, you were the double D.
What's that?
Designated driver.
No. No,
Where'd you live at back then?
We lived in North Chattanooga, then we lived in Ringgold. This is probably when we lived in North Chattanooga.
Oh.
Just for a year.
Back before it got gentrified.
Yeah, whatever that means. To me, gentrified means that, like...
Expensive.
Old people live there, but that's not really what it means. Like geriatric, you got geriatric-fied. That's not true.
The root word is gent. You got your gentry, gentleman, and all that. It's some kind of like landed gentry.
Oh, okay.
So when you say something's gentrified, it means people move in and raise the property values, fix stuff up.
Right, and then other people get pushed out.
Right. Push out the undesirables.
Well, when you say pushed out, they buy their property, they get paid.
Priced out. A lot of people are renting though.
Oh, okay.
But that's just the market.
Right.
You can't complain about that. You can't take the positive aspect of the market and then complain about the negative.
Right.
I mean, I guess you can, but.
So we're kind of touching on a few things here. We talked about which country people are different, then we talked about gentrification, right?
Yes.
And it's a big week in the United States.
Uh-oh. Here we are.
And you and I bring on the hard subjects. We take on the hard subjects, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. So we won't go.
Talking about the rocket.
Let's talk about the rocket for a second.
The space rocket.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, watched it live. How come the camera cuts out when the rocket's landing?
And that's not the only time it's happened, right?
A lot of people saying calling fake on that.
Some
people say it's fake. The other people say, well, that's just what happens when it's landing. It knocks the camera out.
There's nobody on that platform. It's unmanned.
What's it called? I love you something.
Of course, I love you something like that.
Yeah.
I think you've seen some land. You've seen some's not land. I think it's a roll of the dice.
Can we both agree that it looks very fake
when it cuts out?
No, when it's coming down.
Did you see that one when two of them land at the same time?
Mm-mm.
You got to go on YouTube and check that. They had two of them land at the same time. I don't know how come they had two of them land at the same time. Maybe I don't know if it's two stages. That's crazy.
Probably just to prove they could do it.
And it looked like something from a science fiction movie.
Yeah, it just looks cheap when it's coming down because you're not you have nothing to compare it to.
So the couple of questions would be, how come we can do this now? And I guess it's because computers are so good.
Yeah.
And I think they leave gas in it, and they figured the math out, and they leave it, like when that thing detaches near orbit, the first stage, they leave gas in it, and then it has enough gas to do that.
Well, you wouldn't want to be on the boat that it's landing on either.
No.
So that you have to figure that in.
And I don't see how it finds a boat, but it's that damn GPS drone technology whatever.
It's got some gyroscopes in there and spinning around. And
So those dudes got up there, right? I think they had a good time.
are they still up there?
They're up there for 4 months.
So they're just normal astronauts.
They're stuck. See, normally the space station holds 5 people, and there's only 3 up there, 2 Russians and an American.
Huh.
And those two Americans came on. Of course, one popped his head going through the entrance and knocked the shit out of his head.
Didn't he have his helmet on?
No, he's coming through to say hi to the Russians. And even though it's weightless, you still have mass, right?
Yeah.
So you don't fall to the ground, but you're still 200 pounds.
Inertia.
Right. And he cracks his head and come in there. And then they're like, well, now you're the crew for 4 months. And they kind of knew that going in. But they say that the solar cells on the thing that took them up, the Dragon, degrade after 4 months. So they can only stay up there 4 months, and they got to split. Now, we only saw half the mission. They got to get them back to Earth.
Oh, they're going to fly the same thing back?
Oh, that's all they got.
How did the rest of them get up there?
Soyuzes.
They're going to fly, though. There's somebody's going to come pick them up?
No, there's probably Soyuzes attached to the space station.
Okay.
There was a cool picture of the space station from the Dragon as it went up.
Yeah. Did you see like the footage of like the long shot far away showing how fast the Dragon was going over the surface of the Earth? It's kind of real high up, and it just looked like it was flying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going what, 5,000 miles an hour, 10,000
17,
miles an hour.
17, I think. There's probably a way to calculate with math. It's like 120 miles up and whatever speed it takes to stay 120 miles up. I don't know how the
Free falling around the Earth.
Right.
They said when they were still like 2 miles away and coming up on the space station, they said in the time it took them to cut the distance of that 2 miles, they'd already traveled around the Earth like 2 or 3 times.
They get around the Earth 90
they're
minutes.
going so fast.
Yeah.
But they're
well
in relation to each other, they're kind of going real slow.
Here's the math, real quick. The Earth's 25,000 miles around.
Yeah.
And they get around in 90 minutes. So that's 17,000 miles an hour.
Wow.
If it's real.
Wait, wouldn't that be more than 25,000?
If it's
miles an
90,
hour?
if it's 90 minutes, it'd be less than 25, right?
So if it was a 60-minute, if it was 60-minute orbit, it'd be 25,000 miles an hour.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
25,000 miles an hour will get you escape velocity, and you can leave Earth's orbit.
Got to have a lot more fuel, though, right?
Yeah, that's what it takes to get to the moon. 7 miles a second.
Couldn't you do like an elliptical orbit and parachute and like slingshot yourself out?
Well, you're probably on your I don't know, maybe, but maybe you get too close to the atmosphere and you get dragged. But
it's crazy.
So what's interesting? I'm bringing the conversation back to where we don't want to go.
Country music?
No, country music's nice and safe.
All right, go for it.
So the same day that we landed on the moon, that we got to orbit after 11 years, U.S. astronauts got to orbit. It's only 120 miles up. It's not the moon. But we had a crewed launch from America, and it was all in the news, and all the rockets are on TV and all that. And we had all the riots. Race riots, right?
We did?
Yeah. And there's a poem by a guy, I forget his name, he's got 3 names. I should know his name.
I've heard that.
You know,
Whitey's
on the moon, right? So it's like my sister, and I don't have it open, and I'm not paying good credit to it. I can't even think of words anymore. My sister Ned just got bit by a rat, but Whitey's on the moon, right? So it's just like 1968.
So should we not go to the moon? Should we not go to space?
Well,
should we put that money to good use somewhere else?
That's well, it's I don't know. What are they doing on the space station for you? Right?
Developing new technologies.
Like I haven't seen it.
Have you seen your smartphone?
They didn't build it up there. They built it in China.
No, but they developed the technologies and the math that went into it.
Right. Well, we got smartphones.
Tang.
Yeah. That's what I was going to the country bar for.
Plastic.
Plastic. Well, so the question is what science is being performed in the ISS that matters for the millions of dollars up there?
Let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
What could we do with that money instead that would help the problem, whatever problem you think
Right.
we have in America.
Well, the first thing would be that money's a lot is minuscule compared to like defense money,
Yeah.
right? Like Department of
But it's
Defense.
a high-profile event, so that's what people's going to talk about.
Right. So, like, I don't know what the defense budget is, but like NASA's like 0.01% of that.
Isn't the defense budget like 40% or something like that?
Of the whole GDP?
Yeah, something like that.
Probably. So, what else can we do with the money? Well, that's just 1%. Can I have the defense budget? Can I have half of that?
Yeah, but spending the money on what would improve people's lives?
Right. Well, let's talk about
$1 trillion. What would you do with it? Build new subdivisions, build better health care,
that. Right.
free college.
All right, I'll give you something. You ready? Guaranteed jobs for everybody that pay $50,000.
Don't you think there has to be some kind of a merit system in place? Would
Yeah.
would two people make the same amount of money if one person worked his butt off and the other person just watched videos?
Let's
on
say
him?
that. Let's say that's minimum wage. Let's say $50,000 is minimum wage. It's $25 an hour. And this is Michael Moore shit I read or saw.
Housing prices would go up to $1 million for a one-bedroom apartment.
I don't know.
No, I'm exaggerating.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Hamburger would cost $50.
I don't know if it would or not, but let's pretend for a second. I think there's two schools of thought on that. So Michael Moore's thing was, you know who he is, right? Big liberal movie maker. His thing was, how do you get rid of crime? You get rid of poverty, right? So if your neighbors are making, two of them's working, they're making $100,000, they're not going to steal your shit during the daytime, nighttime.
What about white-collar crime?
I don't know, but we're talking about just your base grade crime, which one time, go ahead.
No, okay.
One time, I read something somewhere, and I don't know if it means shit. One time, a cop or somebody said there's two types of crime. It's either drug related or love related.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if that's true. So, your neighbor's stealing your shit. I don't know if it could be just they need to buy food, right?
Or drugs.
Or drugs. So I can't say the guy was right. Or it's an act of passion where I saw you with my girlfriend, I'm going to shoot you.
Love.
So besides inflation, you're worried about inflationary pressures. So I mean, nobody that makes $100,000 is going to carjack you. You know, family. And I'm saying family, father and mother.
Some people do it just for the thrill of it.
You could have mental health issues, and you could pay more for mental health, right? But I don't think there's that many thrill carjackers out there.
So do you really think there's people out there breaking into homes to buy food?
I don't know.
If they're poor enough, wouldn't they qualify for food stamps?
I mean, if they had a mailbox to mail the forms in,
Just go to the post office and do it.
and then where's the post office mail back to them?
Care of the post office.
How much the post office box?
Or you can just go down to the
I don't know.
food stamp office and.
So his thing was, if you had guaranteed employment, and back when I was on minimum wage in the 80s, it was $3.35 an hour, right, for like a decade, right? And I bought a bicycle one time that cost $335, right? So I had to work over 100 hours to get one bicycle.
Yeah.
And video games, you play video games all the time. It's $0.25 a pop.
How much did you like that bicycle? Did you love that bicycle?
That's a good one. I did love that bicycle.
Now, you think if you would have just got that for free, it would have meant as much to you as working that much for it and knowing that you earned it?
Right. That's legitimate.
I think some people need to have a sense of purpose. Just giving them free stuff, they're not going to appreciate the amount of work that goes into doing stuff. You have to have a sense of meaning in your life.
But on the other hand, I think there has to be a living wage, right? What's minimum wage now?
I don't know, $7.75.
Is it that low? I couldn't live on that, man.
No, nobody can live on that.
Right, and that's minimum.
You can't live on $20 an hour, hardly.
Right, I agree, man. So 25 is $50,000, right? Then I think the human deal is we go into that barrel of crabs. You've heard of that analogy before?
Yeah.
So I don't want that guy making 20, 50 grand. I want to pull him back down here with me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. You know, like you said, merit based.
Crab bucket.
Crab bucket. Yeah. So humans have that psychology.
What we need to do is change the psychology until people say, "Hey, that guy's doing. I want to be like that guy up there." Not saying I want to pull him down, saying I want to come up there.
Right.
In a perfect world, that would be optimal.
If 50 grand was the minimum wage, and I think they're trying to get to $15 an hour, and you said you couldn't live on 15 probably.
No, I'm making that much right now. I can't live on it by myself.
Right. I mean, people that do important jobs like astronauts and brain surgeons and whatever, they got to get paid more. You know, not everybody makes 50 grand. But so to your point, I agree with your point. You have to hold inflation down.
But that would even the playing field more. I don't think the people at the top are going to go for that. The very top.
Yeah, well, that's another. I mean, what control do they have? I mean, really, the question would be, where do you get the money? Where do you get the 50 grand to pay the guy? Like my business
From
doesn't.
the people at the top.
That's socialism.
Yeah.
Like say I have a mom and pop business. I don't make enough money to pay you 50 grand. I don't get 50 grand.
Right.
So
Walmart's not going to be paying their employees 50 grand.
So it's a pipe dream.
Everything's going to go up higher.
Now, remember, we're not the only country on the earth, right? That's good. That's actually a very good thing.
Yeah.
It's not the homogenized United States of planet Earth. Other countries have different models and stuff, right? Somebody has to have a more successful model and less poverty.
Then capitalism, you mean?
Well, then wherever we are, whatever we would degenerate it to.
Human nature.
Like,
you're always going to have people wanting to be in control and have more power than somebody else.
Like I was in Norway, and Norway is like the cleanest country I've ever seen. Okay, they were people inside the tunnels cleaning the inside of the tunnels that the cars drove through.
Cool.
People cleaning the bathrooms. They all got, if you're a Norwegian citizen, I think, they all got 30 grand a year from oil, offshore oil. It was like, okay, I think Alaska does that too.
Yeah, I've heard something about that.
You know, whatever, stipend. So,
right.
And, you know, they were happy cleaning the bathrooms, it looked like to me. I don't know.
Plus, they probably have universal health care.
Yeah. Yeah, healthcare is a big thing. But anyhow, it's Whitey's on the moon, 1968 again, right?
Hey, more power to them.
It's just ironic.
I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't really see anybody holding anybody back, keeping anybody from achieving what they want to achieve.
You know, this week, and this talk we're having tonight, we're going to talk about race. And we're two white, public educated guys. That means we're not smart. I'm not smart. You're smarter than me. And we don't know shit.
No.
Okay? So this is just base it off this. We don't know shit. I didn't, and here's the thing. It's been eye-opening to me. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought, man, I'm cool with it. I like where I live, like Chattanooga, and talk to everybody and get along with everybody, seems like. And I can get from one side of the town to the other, connecting with people, and let's say I talk to a black dude and say, hey, man, what's up? And we're just both trying to get there, wherever there is. But I think that perception's wrong. Those dudes have always been born oppressed, right? A culture of oppression. And we had guys at work this week talking about, these guys are super brainiac guys that I work with, a lot smarter than me, and black people. And they were talking about the things that happen to them, right? They just get pulled over and handcuffed and just constantly, and if they succeeded, they said, well, you succeeded because you had privilege, affirmative action, whatever.
Yeah. And
they wanted to be based on merit. They said, we just want to be based on a merit.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think you and I have any idea of, just day in the life.
Personally, I don't think anything's ever as bad as it's portrayed to be. I think somewhere in the middle of the two opposite ends of the spectrum.
That's legitimate. That is legitimate.
Then again, like you said, what do I know?
Yeah, what do I know? And then then I don't want to be one of those one of those white guys that say, I have black friends, and this is my black friend from high school and stuff like that. I don't want to justify anything, and that's not kind of where we're going.
So you think that the black person they interview on Fox News who says there's nothing wrong with our country, everything's fine, it's just people being lazy and getting their feelings hurt, you think that they haven't experienced that either in their life? Or
I think anybody will say anything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I want to kind of jump off the subject for a second. Like, I got a circle of friends around here, and in a circle of 8 or 9 friends, like, one of them doesn't believe man landed on the moon. Okay, completely doesn't believe it. That picture of, we're back into space now, because Whitey's on the moon. That picture of that Tesla in space, that Tesla Roadster with that fake astronaut cruising past the Earth.
Right.
He said that's CGI.
Did you see the video of it supposedly floating in space, and then the camera cut out and it shows it inside the cargo area, and then all of a sudden it changes back to being in space?
I mean, my thought on that is they got video of them loading it into the rocket.
Yeah.
It went into the rocket. 1 million people saw the rocket go off the ground. Where was the faking at? Where was the studio in space? There wasn't one. The damn car went up.
I think basically what people are saying is you could fake it, trick people.
Yeah, I hear that because we watch so many crazy movies and they're flying and blowing shit up. But too many people would know about the fake. It's like you can't keep anybody quiet.
Yeah, but all the people who are saying that it was fake could be the people who know that it was fake. And then everybody says, no, they're just crazy. They're just stupid.
Well, this guy didn't work on it. He's just like, I don't believe we land on the moon. And that, so the thing that shocks me is this is 8 guys I know. We were talking about this. So 1 out of 8 believes that. Another one out of the 8 doesn't believe anything in a liberal newspaper, right? So if it said, Chattanooga is the next hot spot for coronavirus, he goes, well, I don't believe that newspaper. I'm like, well, okay.
I would only believe half of it.
So where we were going with this was to your question about Fox News, the dude on Fox News. We talked about this the other day. We talked about everybody has an opinion, and it seems like they all have equal weight. And,
there's so much information that you really, truly don't know.
Yeah.
Your truth is based on your belief system.
Right. And your, what do they call it?
It's always been like that.
Your cognitive bias. Right.
Before the internet and TV and everything, people lived in their little small communities. Everything that went on there was what the world was. It was their truth. And
you watch your neighbors, What's happened in the last 24 hours with me, I think I already told you this, but I don't know. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, exercising, and he said the virus is fake, right? Coronavirus is fake. Okay, it's fake. And then the next morning, another buddy of mine says he has it, right? So, pneumonia, been in the hospital, fever for 3 or 4 days, tested positive, his wife on the test.
I like playing devil's advocate.
So which one is it? Is it fake or is it real?
You see it under a microscope. Compare it to like a regular flu.
Yeah, electron microscope.
Virus.
Well, and maybe he could say, I think with cognitive bias or whatever, he could say, well, it didn't kill you, it's just an illness, right?
Yeah. Just viral pneumonia.
Just, until somebody I know dies, then I won't be scared of it.
Then you could still say it was something else.
Yeah. So
it all goes back to your belief system.
So that sucks if you're a kid and you think that adults are just randomly think stuff and believe stuff and there's no truth out there.
Well, when I was a kid, I believed whatever the
adults told
mainstream magazines and TV shows. And
what's a magazine?
Science.
No, they don't exist anymore, right?
Oh, yeah. I used to get a little magazine every month. It was about science. I can't remember what it was called. But I believed everything that was in it. I didn't even question it. It didn't even occur to me to question it.
Right. So you can question and just fit your political bias. So anyhow, where we're going? So we're talking about the race stuff, just for a second.
Okay.
I don't know where I was going with that.
I'm still thinking about truth. What truth is.
Truth, yeah.
Why would millions of dollars be spent on propaganda? Probably billions since World War II if truth was just truth.
Who's spending it? Who's got the money to spend?
Governments. Rich people.
Well, governments
and people.
Governments make propaganda to other governments, right?
Yeah, and people, yeah.
Yeah.
You got one government saying Nazis are bad and the other government saying Americans are bad.
Right,
evil.
right.
If the Nazis had won, would America have been the evil?
Yeah, we'd have been.
Roosevelt had been Hitler.
Yeah.
So who's
They'd say we shut down those nasty Americans.
Truth is crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You have to have faith that your truth is the correct one. I guess.
Or you have to be able to measure it, like you said, a microscope. Right.
Yeah, but they could just say, this is coronavirus right here, and this over here is regular flu.
You get your own microscope. You get your own sample.
Yeah, but how do you know what a coronavirus looks like to start with?
Well, you just get somebody
told you.
Get somebody that's sick and just jam that thing in the back of their throat and put it on the slide.
Yeah, but there's no picture or video of coronavirus that hasn't already been through the system.
It's got those spiky things, right? So let's say
we've been told.
Let's say you jam that swab down dude's mouth,
yeah.
Right? And you got an electric microscope there in your bunker. You put it on there and the thing's spiky. You'd say, well, no shit, the damn thing's spiky.
Pollen's spiky.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
You have to have faith that whoever's telling you these things are telling you the truth for your own good.
Well, yeah, but let's talk about man landing on the moon.
Okay.
I mean, what's the benefit of faking it? What did we gain from faking it?
I don't know.
Tang?
Power.
Somebody got some tang.
How do you lose telemetry tapes? They were stored. I believe they were stored in a old McDonald's building.
In for Apollo or
the moon landing, the first moon landing. Some building in Australia, and then they accidentally got recorded over. Then they accidentally got destroyed.
I saw it on TV. I saw it on TV live.
You did?
Yeah. I was 4 years old. And that was in 69. The last one was in 71, 72.
So if they could film something that's happening 200,000 miles away, couldn't they just as easily film something that's happening in a soundstage?
Well, they had Walter Cronkite down there in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They saw the astronauts walk on the spaceship.
Walter Cronkite.
Right?
Yeah.
I know, well, and so he said, there goes the astronauts, they're getting on the spaceship. Spaceship just went in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So where was the fake at? They just circled?
Could have. I mean, I'm not saying it was fake. I'm just saying you don't know.
They brought back
100%.
Brought back moon rocks. They put the flag up there. They had videos stomping around up there.
Have you seen the pictures of Mars that are actually pictures of the desert?
I mean,
it's awesome.
There's also fake UFO pictures.
Yeah.
You know.
I believe one of the moon rocks turned out to be a regular rock, one they had in Denmark.
I don't know.
But that could all just be introduced into the system to make everybody doubt the moon landing even took place.
So, back to idiocracy, right? You know, put the Gatorade on the plants and make them grow better.
Brondo.
You know, whatever, Roundup.
Brondo.
That's what it was.
I think so.
All right, so let's fix the race problem. You ready?
Yeah, we'll get it fixed tonight.
All right. Let's see here. Well, here's what Michael Moore said.
Okay.
He said, cut the police budgets by 50%. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know. I'm all for cutting out the military funding, the federal funding.
Then people say, well, people will run amok and come in here and steal my Vienna sausages. You
don't need a SWAT team reporting to a domestic violence.
You know? And then he said, cut half of their budget. And then he said, fire all of them. and then make him take a test to get back in. And it's like a, you know.
How long will we be without police officers?
Right. Well, his example was, you know, Michael Moore knows his stuff. I get Reagan fired all the air traffic control people in the 80s. Remember that?
No.
I don't remember much, but they want to go on strike. They said, "We want more money," and he said, "You're all fired." Fired every single air traffic controller in the United States. Right. And then they had planes back in the air pretty quick. They either had scabs or trained them real quick or whatever.
Okay.
Like 8 days, planes are back in the air. I don't know how many days it was staying. We can Google that, but we never do. So you fire them all, he said, this is Michael Moore, and then you make them take a test and show they're taking college classes and they're not, you know, racist white assholes, right?
Okay.
Sensitivity training. And what I want to do is filter this through our common sense, right? Our Southeast Tennessee common sense, right? And then you get rid of poverty, you empower women. There's a lot of things. Nothing's going to change. That's the sad part. Maybe we'll have more heightened sensitivity to choking black dudes out. I hope we don't choke any more black dudes out. Okay.
Yeah.
Or white dudes, but there's a lot more black dudes getting choked out.
Is that a statistic, proven statistic?
It based on per capita, right? Like, let's say the population is 23% black. You know,
is that what it is? I thought it was.
I don't know.
Lower than that.
And then they're getting wiped out by cops at a lot higher rate than whites, right? You're more likely to bite the dust.
Do you think that comes back to resisting arrest?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Who was it? Some other guys I listened to, they say that you have to have an enemy to get money. You said that too. You said
war on drugs, war on terror.
Yeah, war makes money.
Yep.
Right? So if you have a bad guy, you could say, hey, we need some of them big ass tanks and shit to patrol our small town, because the black guy's out there, right? Black guy's got tank busters.
Okay.
Tank buster guns. So you have to have a boogeyman, right? I guess. So where were we going with this? And
so we're just going to shift the boogeyman away from the black man to another boogeyman?
No, not if we cut the budgets. So your question was, what if they resist arrest? Well, I think part of the reason they resist arrest is because they know 1 out of 2 times they're going to, you know, bite the dust.
And that's like saying, if I get into a pen with this bull, he's going to gore me. So once I get in here, I better fight him or something. I don't know.
Better run like hell.
If you're not in a position, I think this goes back to where I don't know what I'm talking about. If you're not in a position to be stopped by the police, but then again, they're just getting pulled over randomly, I guess. Well, let's
go back. Let's make sure we make our disclaimer. We don't know shit.
Right.
Okay. Let's just come back to that. You and I, effing clueless, right? We're insulated, isolated.
Yeah.
You know, we've been isolated for years. We'll be isolated all the way out.
I could say some of my experiences I've had with police officers, but I don't want to try to sound like I know what a black person's going through. But back in the 90s, I had kind of long hair and dressed like a grunge guy.
Yeah.
I would get harassed by the police too. I got accused of shoplifting. I got put in handcuffs.
Really?
Got my picture
I didn't know this about you, buddy.
They dropped the charges. I didn't shoplift.
Yeah.
And so they were accusing me of that. And then I got followed around downtown while I was driving with a couple of my friends.
Yeah.
A bunch of cops pulled up, telling me to keep that weird stuff up in
Saudi
where
Daisy.
you come from. Yeah. I said, okay, whatever.
I didn't know
that.
that.
Was just from having long hair.
Well, they didn't have much to do in the 90s.
But I didn't resist arrest.
And wasn't downtown nasty?
Dirtier, yeah.
You know.
But he said, where are you going where I'm not going? I was like, what do you mean? Was I speeding? He's like, don't get smart with me.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't even know you were a police officer. You're in an unmarked car with no siren.
You can't challenge him. You can't challenge him.
You're sitting there following me around. It's like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
So he called for backup.
Anyhow. I haven't got pulled over that much. One time in high school, I was drinking. It was me and a girl and a guy in the front seat of the car. And I was drinking, and I got pulled over. And I said something like, "Officer, she was all over me," and he let me go. Luck.
Give you a high five?
Well, again, you know, if I was a guy I went to high school with, and I was black, it might have been a different story, man. And these people, if any, nobody listens to our podcast, but if a black person listens to our podcast, they'll say, "Yeah, it would be a different story."
Do you think that's because police officers are more wary of a black person?
I don't know about that. Here's the question. Is it worse now? It shouldn't be worse now. I thought we were okay now. Out here in my bubble.
You don't hear about the millions of encounters where nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
You hear about the hundreds of ones that go bad.
Well, you and I went through the phone on upstairs, and we, read out case after case of black dudes getting killed, black dudes and black women.
Yeah, but that's out of how many cases where they don't get killed.
Well, they were killed like in cold blood. Like busting that lady's house and shoot her because it's the wrong house. 12-year-old kid. So I think some of this now, you and I typically like to go historical on this and see what changed, right?
Okay.
What went wrong? I think some of this is that everybody has a gun nowadays. Well,
yeah, legal, illegal, whatever.
They had some protester, I don't know if you read this or not, came down to the protest. I think it was a black dude, and he had AK-47. Yeah. And I think it was not working order, but he had ammo on him, and he had a bulletproof vest.
It wasn't put together. It was broken down.
Right, and you're allowed to do that. I've been to Jason's Deli, and the dude has a gun. I'm like, I'm not eating Jason's Deli with this dude with his gun. This table next to me.
Most legal gun owners are fairly safe. You do have your random nut job, but most people are pretty safe.
But we didn't have guns out the ass back in the day, 70s, 80s, 90s.
They probably did.
Well, they didn't. Like, you go to the grocery store now, or it's all gun magazines. It's just like how to kill more people with your gun magazines. Huh. I'll go over to Food City here in the middle of nowhere and take a picture of the magazine rack. It's guns.
Guns.
And then my wonderful neighbors, they all loaded to the teeth. If Chinese invade, this cul-de-sac will survive.
Maybe.
Right. Chinese paratroop in or whoever.
Drop some
I don't know if it's. I'm not sure who our. Yeah. I'm not sure who our enemy is. Let's say Antarctica. There's Antarcticans drop in. They won't hit the ground here.
Ooh. I'm pro gun.
Yeah. Well, it's Wild West. It's like everybody has a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
What was that show with Sheriff? What was his name? There's so many shows.
I have no idea.
It had Festus.
Oh, yeah.
What was the guy? Gunsmoke.
Marshall
Dillon. Y'all have your guns. Faster reactions win. So Grandpa's going to lose every time Grandpa tries to shoot.
If you're in a situation where you have a gun and somebody else doesn't have a gun, you're more likely to use that gun against somebody who doesn't have one. But if both of you have guns, you're less likely to, either one of you are less likely to use guns because you don't want to get hurt.
Does that mean you wear the gun on a holster? It's Wild West.
When neither one of you have guns, you might just have a fist fight. Still one of you will get hurt.
Wow.
I don't know.
I think guns are good, maybe equalizers for the old, infirm women, maybe. I don't know. Old and infirm and women. But
who is the government to tell somebody what they can do or not do?
Who is the government?
The power.
Well, here's the question. Can the government control manufacturers?
The government can do whatever they can get away with doing.
Like cigarettes. Right? Cigarettes are universally bad.
I can tell you one thing. Prohibition doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can outlaw anything you want to. People are going to still do what they want to do.
If Smith & Wesson's making money hand over fist, they are right now. And they're saying, buy guns. Here's your gun magazine. Have a gun. It's fun with guns. Here's a pink gun. Pink guns are fun. Guns for
They're also
kids.
having to pay lawsuits too. Maybe not them specifically,
Yeah.
but some gun manufacturers.
So back to cops and blacks and whites.
Okay.
So the cops probably think the blacks are packing and the whites are packing. They think everybody's packing because they are packing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not packing, for the record. You know, I had a good run. You know, if I need shot, that saves me 15 years of, you know, wasting disease or whatever.
You have a tire iron in your car?
Probably
In the
if I
back?
take the hatchback out and pull the tire out and untwist this bolt and take that bolt out and get this other bolt, I might have one.
It's a weapon.
Yeah, well, it's also a tool.
So, okay. It's all about what's your intention.
So here's the question, and I apologize because I think I lost some damn brain cells in the last anesthesia I had, man. I used to be quicker. Swear to God, I think I lost some brain
Need to drink
cells.
some coffee.
The question is the tension ratcheted higher now than in the past with racial incidents? I thought, again...
I think it's the universal access to media and statistics at your fingertips. What does the media love to do? The media loves to instigate.
So you're kind of saying, don't tell me I don't want to hear about it.
Happens every day.
What I don't know doesn't...
If the media hadn't picked up on the George Floyd thing, do you think there would be protests going on right now?
Well, like guns, phones aren't going back in the bottle, right?
But I'm saying, I think it's probably always been like this.
Yeah, well, do you want to change it though, right?
Yeah, I want everybody to get along.
Like, you know, I don't want to paraphrase Michael Moore's podcast. I want to have original thoughts on mine. He's like, at some point, white people will be the minority, right? And then if
Talk about it in this country.
in 2040, you're the minority, and so let's say there's black cops and pull a white guy out and and suffocate, put the chokehold on the white guy, kill the white guy on a video, right?
Yeah.
What would white people do?
It depends on if their perspectives have changed.
They'd depend on if they had an AK-47 or not. They'd start sniping.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what Michael Moore said. I don't want to take credit for anything.
White people are getting beat up every day.
Yeah, for what?
Black on white crime's higher than white on black crime.
But black on
Are
black
white
crime's
people out
the
protesting
most.
about that? No. Yeah, black on black crime is.
The most.
How come nobody's protesting about that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, they're protesting about a film lynching. Film dude took his life, right?
Yeah.
And there's other movies, same thing. You can see the dude take the dude's life. Armed to the teeth, worried about the other guy having a gun.
I know it's bad and everything, but there is a narrative playing out in the media.
What's that?
The narrative that cops are bad. Black people are innocent.
Yeah,
In every situation. They try to make it seem like every situation. I'm convinced that the media is instigating. It happens every day.
There's always ulterior motives,
Yeah.
right? I mean, every movie we see now, it's an integrated movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you just expect to be an integrated movie, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. You know, I mean, is that real life? In some places, maybe.
I think there's better ways to go about changing society than instigating. If that's the goal, is to change society and make society more peaceful or whatever.
Well,
I think there's better ways to do it than violence.
yeah. Let's talk about, because you and I talked about George Floyd. Okay, that's what we're specifically talking about. And I didn't dig into he was intoxicated and stuff like that. You said
That's what I
that's
heard.
what you heard. He was intoxicated. I think he's a big guy.
Wasn't he also a former robber or something like that?
I heard he was
driving a getaway car or something.
Really?
Something like that. Or maybe there was a robbery in progress and he was just happened to be on the scene or something like that.
I don't know, man. I mean, again, you're
Hearsay.
you're talking about the cops, the judge, jury, and executioner, no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you have? But there was something that, and I don't know if this is true. I mean, everything's again, it's did we land on the moon or not?
Yeah.
That he was a bouncer at a club that the cop that killed him was a bouncer at. I don't know. Who knows?
So they knew each other.
That's one thing. I don't know. But, I think we have, and I don't want to say all cops are bad. Definitely not all cops are bad, right?
I've known lots of nice cops.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say majority are not bad.
I think it's like anything else. People make stupid decisions.
I think they're on a hair trigger, right? Their hair trigger, the adrenaline's pumping. They've been trained. They do this, do that. They know how to kill, right? Trained to kill.
At least in Chattanooga, cops have a rigorous training.
Now, Chattanooga's had some racial things too, haven't they? Where cops kill some black dudes, probably.
Probably, yeah.
But my whole picture before this week was like, we're cool in Chattanooga. We're cool. I could, go into, a cool fish place, be the only white dude in there, have the cool fish sandwich, whatever it was, with slaw on it and fries, soul food, and it's cool, right?
Yeah.
I like that when we do the Bessie Smith strut. Up MLK and have all those blues bands and everybody's hanging out. So the question is, and I knew I'd bring this up, is like, that's nice, Golden Eagle. How many black guys do you hang out with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Right? How many of your friends are? And the answer, I'm not even going to, I mean, here's the thing. I don't have that many friends. Right, the friends I got are from 20 years of riding bicycle. Mm-hmm. Right, I've got one buddy I could scrape up, ride bicycle with. Don't see him that often. Nice guy. Because most of these conversations with white people, they go, "I'm cool with it. I got look like
right."
Like even Trump says, "Look, I hired Omarosa. What's her name? Omarosa. It was his.
I have no idea.
Yeah, she was there.
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah. Look, I was on The Apprentice and I hung out with what's that guy's name? That rapper has got like gold teeth. Little John.
Yeah.
Little something.
Little John's the guy that goes, yeah.
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 So Trump said, Little John's a friend of mine. Snoop Dogg was in the White House. So it's just kind of.
What does that mean? If you have a black friend that you're cool with it, you're down with it.
You're down with it, man.
You know what's going down.
That means you.
I've had that I can remember 3 black friends.
I've had black friends.
1995.
I've had black friends over the years, and they kind of were strong.
What do you mean by strong?
Like one time I worked in the hospital in Morgantown washing blood off instruments in the 80s.
Yeah. Sounds
right.
Fun.
Great job. So they'd bring these trays, these cups of blood, these capsules with skin on them, and you clean it off and wash it off and autoclave it, right? And I wanted to leave. I was working there in the summer. I wanted to leave and go back and see my grandmother before school. And they didn't want me. They needed me to work, wash blood off instruments, right? And I'm like, I got to, I'm quitting because I'm going home. And one dude I worked with said, man, you got to stay strong. You got to do what's right for you. You got to stay strong. He was a good guy.
And doing what's right for you was quitting and going to see your grandma?
Hell yes.
Is that what he was trying to say?
Yeah, he said, hold your head high. Hold your head up.
Was he an older black man or?
I don't remember. And then I had another guy I worked with. I went out to his house, and he used to make me some tapes, man, some awesome cassette tapes, and he was cool. And I had Cameo Word Up, right? Remember that song?
Word Up.
Yeah, Word Up.
Yeah.
Now, I need to play that one. And then I lifted weights in Florida with the guy as a janitor. I was working on, down there in Florida. you know, and we go in there and just crunch weights at noon and just, you know, bench 315, I think, 275, 315, and then go back to work. So I'm trying to think who else. And then my bike riding buddy, been bike riding with him for 20 years. Here I go again. I'm justifying that I'm cool. I'm not cool. I'm not cool. I'm in the insulated white bubble. Right? I don't know shit, you know. Mm-hmm. How can I help you, sir? Was I speeding? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try not to speed next time. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the warning. You know?
Yeah.
Versus keep your hands on the wheel. Don't breathe. Get out of the car. How do I get out of the car with the hands on the wheel?
Maybe the media portrays black men a certain way, and the cops see that on the media. Maybe the black men you were friends with are how the majority of black people are, but then you get the gangster rapper perspective, and that's what police officers think they're going up against.
Yeah, I mean, can we blame everything on the media?
90% of it.
I mean, are we saying all the cops stay home and watch TV all night? Because I don't watch TV.
It's not. I mean, it's in your subconscious from the time you're a child. Stuff you see on TV, music, movies.
Well, TV's kind of drifted right now since phones, right? So these cops are 2025. So let's say they were born in 1995.
MTV, gangster rap.
Yeah. I don't know. That may be. I'm saying that might be a convenient scapegoat. It may not. It may be the right answer, but it may be a convenient scapegoat.
I think if anything, it contributes.
I'll tell you one more story about my 5 decades of having very few black friends. Now, the other thing is I work for an international company, and one thing we do, man, dude, we respect everybody, right? All countries. I deal with the whole planet Earth all the time. Right, diversity training. Everybody's smarter than me.
Isn't that what every company's doing nowadays? I know we are.
Sure, yeah, that's good. I mean, you want the cream of the crop for your company. Company's in it to make money. So if the guy from Antarctica, I'll use Antarctica, is smarter than the guy from America, we want to make sure we don't want just a bunch of dumb Americans. We'll take the smart guys.
Right.
Right. One other, and I just remember this, you know, very few. When I worked in Florida, I had another friend, and he would invite us to parties, right, in Florida. I'm in my 20s, and I'd be the only white person within 3 miles at the party, in the house, you know, drinking a cup of beer.
Did you feel uncomfortable?
I felt uncomfortable, man. And you know, you try to talk to some women. And you know, you stand out like a sore thumb, you know. And I think one time he brought me and another friend of mine who's German, so he's blonde hair, blue eyed, and to this party, and you know, we're the only people of our race there. It's uncomfortable. In that, you know, you're different. You know, I'm not sure we're finding any truth here. So, how do we solve it, Adam? You and I.
Quit going to the moon, I guess.
Quit going to the moon. Whitey's on the moon, and we're cracking people upside the head in L.A. We're dropping tear gas in Chattanooga.
I think the best way to solve it would be from a young age, teach people that there may be some patterns on the large scale, but when you get down to individual levels, everybody's different. You've got just as many nice people as you have mean people.
Well, I think you have more nice people.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I think you're hitting the bell on that, man. And let me give you an analogy, because I ride bicycle, right? I've been riding bicycle for years. And every once in a while, somebody will throw something out the window and hit you.
Right.
Like beer can, Coke bottle, yell at you, try to spit on you, throw water on you out the window, whatever, piss, who knows, right? And whoever did that, their son's in the car, and they're teaching their son to do that, right? And it's kind of slowed down, and people kind of accepting the bikes. I haven't been hit by...
Hold on a sec.
Okay. Is it recording?
Okay, it's going again. Sorry.
Did we lose anything?
I don't know. We just stopped for a minute.
Shit.
Okay,
we probably lost a lot, man. I haven't been hit by a bottle in a while. I got hit on Edouard Ringgold Road. You know, and you look up, you got
Coke bottle, like a plastic bottle.
plastic Coke bottle, like a Pepsi or something. I can't remember what it was.
It'd be better than glass.
Yeah. So that teaching and training of kids to do that shit has decreased. Now, go ahead.
Going back to what I was saying about teaching kids from a young age,
Yeah.
just teach kids to be respectful of people. If you come up to somebody with a little bit of respect, you're more likely to get cooperation out of them than if you come up at them talking down to them and everything.
I feel like, and I'm probably got some bullshit. I feel like I can kind of talk to anybody about. I can connect.
Yeah.
I can look at look around us, okay, and make a point about the situation around us that they understand. Like, man, it's hotter than hell out here. You know. Anyhow, so you got me concerned about that. But anyhow,
It's going.
so. Oh, here's where I was going. Now check this out. Let's go do some time travel, okay?
Well,
And I'm a little bit older than you. There was a lot of damn racial stuff growing up, okay, in West Virginia. Relatives and stuff, they were down on it.
yeah,
They were down on it. You know, they were damn down on it.
right.
It was ingrained on both sides of my family.
It was taken for granted.
You know, it was ingrained that they would say stuff, and then I never did pay much attention to it. So you think we're moving away from that. So really, one good thing about these protests, and I want to talk about the protests, is that there's a lot of white people in them. That's cool. Like when you see the pictures of the protesters, and
Right.
I like it 50-50, man. You know,
Yeah.
I like it. So that's kind of progress. So I think there's progress. It's not enough progress. Black people are still in the hole. You and I talked about the financial aspects. They have like 10% of the wealth of a white family, a black family. You know, white family 171,000, black family 17,000 worth of possessions or bank account or wealth.
Right.
They're in the hole, right? And that forces a lot of behavior, I'm sure.
I don't know how you can fix it though.
Well, $50,000 a year, right?
Poverty isn't just from not having money. It's a state of mind. You ever see these poor people who win the lottery and then they're poor again in like a year or two? They have to learn money skills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't save money on $7.75 an hour. You know, you can't save a damn penny of that.
I don't know. I think you could save a little bit of it. First of all, you're not going to be living on your own at $7.75 an hour. You're going to be living in a halfway house or something. But there is always some way to save money.
Well, I mean, a gallon of milk's $7. It's an hour work.
Powdered milk.
I mean, that's a deep hole to dig
You ever
out
listen
of.
to Dave Ramsey show?
Are you crabbing on me? Are you grabbing the crabs back down?
No.
Teach
I'm
your
just saying
crabs how to
there's
save
always-
money.
There's always a way. You have to have a vision. You have to have go back to having a purpose. If your purpose is to save money, you're going to save money somehow.
Well,
You can say, I can't do it. What's the point? I can't do it. Or you can say, I'm going to do it.
you need a lot. I mean, the question is, what do you save money for, and how much money do you need?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to save up so I can have 2 gallons of milk, or am I trying to save up so I can have a house, which
Or
$150,000.
get another job, part-time job. Share an apartment with 4 other people.
Well, let's look at this real quick. So let's say we cut half the police budgets, or cut the defense spending,
Okay.
right? You know,
That's not going to happen, though.
That's not gonna happen.
Defense spending is not going to be cut.
also the U.S. has so much debt. Even if you cut it, you know, you couldn't even pay the debt off. I don't think you can ever pay the U.S. debt off, right?
Yeah, but all we got to do is call in our debts to other nations. If they ever called in our debt, we just got to call in their debt.
I'm not sure it's how it works. I don't
How
know.
about we get rid of the Fed? How about we start there? Get rid of the Federal Reserve.
I don't know.
That would be awesome.
I don't know enough
Go back
about
to the
it.
gold standard.
Is that going to save money?
Well, yeah, I think it would. But before you could do it, you'd be assassinated.
They went to paper like in the 70s, right? Like Spiro Agnew or somebody.
I can't remember. Something like that.
What's on your homework list?
I think
Because you brought
Kennedy
it up.
Was trying to, Kennedy was trying to stay on it or something. And maybe Nixon went on it.
Yeah, I think Nixon went on, but you brought it up. You got to research.
Gaddafi was assassinated because he wanted to get off the oil dollar.
I remember
where
that.
Arab Spring came from.
Yeah. But where were we going? We were going with
Cut spending.
Poverty. Okay, so we were saying, let's not go to the moon. Let's get Whitey off the moon, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let's take the tank busters missiles out of the police department.
Okay.
Right, and the SWAT helicopters and the night vision goggles and the AK-47s and the robot dogs and shit like they got in my town of about 1,000 people.
Get rid of the cameras that read license plate driving down the road.
And take that money and then mom and pop grocery store. You know, I know you can pay what percentage of your profits to your baggers or Walmart, and then here's more money to make them up to minimum age. What am I saying here? Minimum wage.
What about if we kept minimum wage the same and then lowered the prices of everything else? That'd be the same. In theory, that'd be the same thing, wouldn't it?
How does the government control lowering the prices?
Same way they control raising the minimum wage cap.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if we have a solution. So,
or how about raise the minimum wage and lower the prices?
Besides throwing money at people, which, you know, again, we talked about Norway. They're getting 30 grand from oil. They don't have to do anything. They just have to be born in Norway. 30 grand a year. Right? Pizzas over there was like 3 for $120. I'm serious.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So probably money's not going to happen. You'll say, well, we're not made out of money. We just can't print more money. You have a lot of crab theory going on. Swear to God, that's crab theory's stronger than anything.
You have to change people's thought processes.
It's institutional.
Starting with children.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man.
How are you going to do that? Take everybody's children away and re-educate them? If they live at home with parents, they're going to be like their parents.
And some parents are ignorant.
Yeah.
You know.
They could be the best well-meaning parents in the world, but I mean, they could teach their children wrong.
Right.
Without even trying to.
Well, then you get into what percentage are ignorant. And maybe it's less over time.
Nothing's going to happen overnight. Police aren't going to change overnight.
Right.
The population's not going to change overnight. It's going to be a slow process.
Black people aren't going to make more money overnight. You know that. But, all right. So we'll try to wrap this up here, I guess. Right. We didn't have much humor tonight. We never had much humor. I don't know if we solved anything. So the solution would be somehow eradicate poverty, and if you say somehow let somebody else figure it out. Good luck on that.
There's always going to be people on the bottom, though.
Well, maybe that could be less.
Is everybody going to be equal?
What are there any country where they're all equal?
Wealth redistribution? No, there's no country in the world. Somebody's always going to be in power.
Yeah.
And their friends are going to have power, and their family's going to have power. You can't have power without somebody else not having power. It's just nature.
Crab theory.
Yeah.
Crab theory. So reduce poverty, less ignorant teaching to the kids, less teaching kids to hate people of the race. I think another concept, xenophobia, let's call it xenophobia. If you don't look like me, I'm kind of concerned about you, right? Mm-hmm. You got all these dudes in prison, and then prisons go into race gangs, right? Yeah. If I go to prison, the black dudes probably don't want me hanging out with them, right? Even though I'm cool.
I think you might be stereotyping a little bit there. That's what you've seen on TV.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what's in the prison. I think there's Hispanic gangs, white gangs, and I think they just xenophobe up in there.
That's probably the hardcore federal prisons.
And I hope that's not true, right? So I was going with that.
The only way I know is from watching TV.
I was going with that is I'm saying xenophobia I think is baked into human evolution.
Yeah, the other.
I think when we wiped out Neanderthals, we said, look at those Neanderthals. They ain't like us. Let's kill them. Let's screw a couple, then let's kill them.
Animals are like that too.
Really?
Animals stick to their own species or whatever, race or whatever you want to call it. Squirrels stick with squirrels. Birds stick with birds.
Do white and black squirrels hang out, or albino squirrels?
I don't know.
There's probably not that many of them.
Dogs of different
Dogs
of different breeds hang out,
will breed with any other dog they can get a hold of, right?
but not cats.
Well, they're different species. We're not different species.
I know we're not. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, we're trying to find some analogies.
The nature of it. It's natural.
Well, let's look at primates. Okay. Now, groups of chimpanzees wipe out other groups of chimpanzees.
Bonobos and chimps fighting each other.
Yeah. Well, even my chimp gang and your chimp gang.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's tribal.
It's primates, man. And we're good killers, man. We're pro killers.
Our nature hasn't caught up with our intellect.
Yeah.
Or our intellect outstripped our nature.
To this current thing, only thing I can preach, and other people have preached this already, is get to know other people, right? Mm-hmm. Try to reduce the xenophobia. Try to understand I think we worried about what word am I looking for? Their intentions.
Yeah.
Is your intentions to rob me or to deliver my mail, or who knows? You know what I mean?
And where do you get your idea of their intentions from?
Well, it's not. I don't get it from TV. I don't watch TV.
Media. You watch clips on YouTube. You read articles.
Yeah.
It's not just TV. It's everything. Every form of communication.
Well, that's not going back in the bottle. Three things not going back in the bottle, right? Guns.
Right.
Back in the genie bottle. Phones, right? And media.
Right.
They're out. They're out of the bottle.
But certain people can control the media. Certain people in the media can control the media. So it's not going back in the bottle, but it can be not persuaded. It can
manipulated.
Be manipulated, yes. And it's manipulated every day. It's called public relations.
Yeah. I mean, you got some common themes. You got some common themes there.
And violence and war makes money.
Yeah.
So having white people against black people generates
That's what
money.
Charles Manson wanted. Remember that? He wanted a race war, helter skelter.
People aren't going to get rich and powerful off everybody getting along.
Well, I mean, the themes we keep coming back to is what's the truth? Media does things, and the rich and powerful does things, right?
And a sheep war caught in the middle.
Now that's your themes. My themes are, right? Just to be clear, my themes are, we could be better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We could be better. We could. I've got, again, it's like every single time you have a white person talking, and again, you and I, just go back to the disclaimer. I don't know dick, okay? I'm in a bubble. I don't know dick. I haven't faced it. No experience. Public school education. I got nothing going for me, right?
Right.
I've got neighbors of different ethnicities, right? And they got kids, and I help the kids out. Does that make me a non-racial person? I hope so. But I've given the kids a ton of stuff, fixed their stuff for them, restrung their guitar, give them toys, hung out with them a little bit. But we can be better. The kids are going to face a hard life, right? Black and brown kids. At some point. Maybe not. I hope not.
I think it's just like everybody. Everybody's got aspects of their life that are harder than others.
Yeah. Well, we got white privilege, man.
Yeah, in some areas.
If I get pulled over, I'd be like, how you doing, officer? Hey, man, thanks. You did a good job. First ticket I had in 20 years. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. That'll teach me. Thanks again. See you later.
Mm-hmm.
Versus chokehold.
So you think of going to sound racist, but anyways, if you think a black man acted the way you acted toward the cop would put him in a chokehold. Sorry, officer, I didn't mean to speed, officer.
Right.
20 years.
Right.
Get on the ground. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's legitimate. I agree. That's legitimate. I'm
And
saying
if the cop pulled you over and you're saying F you,
Yeah.
pig, whatever,
yeah.
you would probably be on the ground.
I
think it works both ways.
That's legitimate. That's a legitimate viewpoint.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I mean, you made a lot of great points. You
did.
Like the volume of incidents, right? Is probably 90% are okay. You know.
That doesn't make the news though.
Doesn't make the news.
It doesn't boost ratings.
But a freaking lynching on video that the whole world can see, that's going to elicit some responses, man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see anybody. What sucks, and always, this is a damn long podcast. What sucks is this generation that grew up now. They've just seen death and death and death and death. You know, I
think that's going to make them better people.
No, it's going to make them scared, depressed, nervous, neurotic people.
Get on some drugs.
You know, like they grew up and they had that Newtown shooting, 20 first graders, right? Mm-hmm. They had some other kid die of cancer. They had this shooting. They had that shooting. You know.
Do you think they're better off knowing about it or not knowing about it?
Can you live in a vacuum? Right. I don't think they have a choice.
Do you think their mental health would be healthier not knowing about it or knowing about it? Knowing that they can't do anything about it.
I think if it not happened, their mental health would be better. If it didn't happen, if they didn't shoot 20 first graders.
If you can't do anything about it, what's the good of knowing about it?
Well, you can't do anything about World War II, but you want to know about it. Right? You learn from
that
history.
happened a long time ago.
Well, I don't have a good example for that. So,
there's no easy answer.
So what here? So we can't solve this. I guess not. No. Hard to believe that you and I can't solve this here in the basement. The outcome, I think you and I are in agreement. The outcome is everybody's gonna be a little bit more woke for a while. Hopefully, it'll last 10 or 20 years and teach their kids to be woke and more rights. I don't think anybody's gonna get off the dollar anywhere. Do you? Nobody's gonna give anybody free money to get out of poverty. No.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't help. It might help in the short term, but not in the long term.
We're going to have the human interest story where the white cop helps the black people be on the news.
Did you see the 3 police officers kneeling?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
A lot of people have said that was just a photo op.
Right. Well, they said the guy that kneeled was the guy that pulled the tear gas out. This is Chattanooga we're talking about.
I thought that was a county guy who did that.
Right, this is the guy that kneeled the next day. But what's funny, man, it cracks me up, a bunch of Barney Fifes where we live, is that the county tear gassed the city cops. That's the funniest. That's hilarious, man.
Do you think they do that at their own discretion, or are they getting the order from above?
They were at the courthouse. Remember, I think it's where we had occupied Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Right, and the dudes were like, it's 20-year-old guys, and there's girls there, and I think a lot of this is motivated to look good to the girls, right?
No.
I think it was just one guy and one cop. The guy's not going to do much, but if he's got somebody put a show on for, so they're up there trying to tear something off the steps,
right?
And I don't know, they're just trying to be like, yeah, I'm tough. Right. And I think they actually said they tried to pull an officer into the crowd. I saw the video.
I heard they tore down a sign, like the kind you tie up, tore down a sign, which was attached to a flimsy light pole, and they pulled the light pole down with it.
There's some Confederate sculptures down there they tore up or something.
Okay.
And then the Hamilton County cop, like you said, the main sheriff said, they can protest all they want, and they start tearing up historical things, I'm gonna gas them. And he gassed him, and he gassed them. The Chattanooga cops were cool because the top cop said that
Roddy
Piper said, if you think lynching that black dude was good, you need to turn your damn badge in. And it made national news, right? So,
did it?
Yeah, it made national news. So CPD, Chattanooga Public Department, would look cool. Then the county kind of got going.
Yeah.
It's calmed down a lot. And now it's kind of like Bessie Smith Strut every night down there. They march up and down, 7 o'clock. They meet at Miller Park, and for a week. I'd like to see it. I'm in my insulated white bubble.
Should go down there. Put
Yeah.
your mask on.
Well, we missed it tonight.
I'm not going down there.
Well, yeah. And then they got, I don't know. The guys on the roof, they arrested some dude on the roof with a bunch of guns. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's drinking, had 3 or 4 guns, loaded to the teeth, looking down at him. America, baby.
He's just protecting his property.
They're not going to get up on the roof, are they?
Better not get anywhere near the front door.
Yeah, I think it was an apartment building.
Yeah, it was.
But
I just think...
that's judge, jury, executioner again.
I think this will be a big deal until the next
Next
emergency.
next news cycle.
Coronavirus. The world is ending.
Right. We gotta wrap this thing up, man.
No,
But one thing I want to talk about sometime, not tonight, but what could go wrong next in 2020, right? There's 211 days left.
Assassination. That would really send the country over the edge. I'm not going to say who.
War could get it. War could do it.
Civil war, yeah.
Civil war or.
I don't think there's going to be any like traditional wars anymore. I think it's just going to be information warfare, biological warfare.
Yeah.
Just keep people confused.
You say by non-state actors. Let's wrap this up. So.
All right.
So Adam, good talk about race. Hopefully, it didn't look too stupid and ignorant and racist. That's not where we're coming from.
Hey, we're just trying to understand, legitimately understand both sides of the issue.
Yeah,
Maybe we should have had one of your black friends over here to talk.
I'd have to find one.
If we can't have a conversation without not knowing what we're talking about and without offending somebody,
yeah.
If you're afraid of offending people, you're never going to have a
Right.
intelligent, truthful conversation. And not intentionally offending people, just speaking your mind, your thought processes.
Yeah.
If you can't do that without being afraid, then I think we're still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, we only know what we know. Right. So.
If you don't say what you don't know, then you can't learn.
Right. But.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for that. And that wraps up.
Thank you.
Eric, hope you listen to all that. Oh, I gave away his name. Darkness, hope you listen to all that. I know you won't. You want to talk about UFOs and shit. We ain't got no UFOs, man. We got other issues.
Next time, hopefully.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.